If a stranger knocked on your door tomorrow and said, hey, give me the keys to your house, your bank account number, and the right to negotiate with your insurance company on your behalf, you would slam that door so fast the hinges would crack. But here is what blows my mind. Every single hurricane season, every single hail season, thousands of homeowners do exactly that. They just do it on a clipboard instead of at gunpoint. I am a real estate attorney. I have closed thousands of transactions in the Carolinas, and I have personally handled cases where a homeowner signed one document, and lost $25,000 in insurance proceeds to a contractor they met 45 minutes earlier. One signature, one stranger, $25,000 gone. There is a document called an assignment of benefits. Most homeowners have never heard that term until it is too late. And by the time they call my office, the contractor has already cashed the insurance check, slapped a cheap tarp on the roof, and dissolved the LLC he was operating under. That is not an exaggeration. I am going to walk you through exactly how this scam works, how to reverse it if you have already signed one, and how to trigger a state-level criminal fraud investigation that puts the full weight of the insurance fraud division on the scammer instead of you. There is a specific story I am going to tell you about a client named Patricia in Iredell County that will make you never open your front door the same way after a storm. Stick around for that story. If you have made it this far and you have not hit the like button, let me put this in perspective. This information costs $400 an hour in my office. I am handing it to you for free. The least you can do is smash that like button so YouTube pushes this video to the next homeowner whose neighborhood just got hammered by a storm and who has a scammer walking up their driveway right now with a clipboard. Hit like, do it now. Let's get into it. I am a real estate attorney, but I am not your real estate attorney. Laws vary state by state. What is true in North Carolina might be completely different where you are. Use this as your starting point. Then talk to a local attorney before you sign anything. Here is the reality of where we are in 2026. Storm seasons are getting worse. Insurance premiums are climbing. And the scam artists have gotten smarter, faster, and more aggressive than they were even 2 years ago. According to the National Insurance Crime Bureau, roofing fraud is one of the fastest growing categories of insurance fraud in the country. And the epicenter of it is storm-prone states like the Carolinas, Florida, and Texas. These are not random handymen who happen to be driving by. These are organized operations. They listen to weather scanners, they track storm cells, and they have crews staged in hotel parking lots the night before a system moves through. The morning after a storm hits your neighborhood, they are already walking your street. They have branded trucks, matching polo shirts, printed brochures, and tablets loaded with contracts. They look professional because looking professional is part of the con. And the single most dangerous document they carry is the one most homeowners do not even read before they sign it. Section 1, the free roof illusion. Here is the thing. Legitimate, high-quality roofing contractors do not need to canvass your neighborhood the day after a storm. They do not need to knock on your door uninvited. They do not need to pressure you into signing something on the spot. A good roofer has a backlog. A good roofer has referrals. A good roofer does not need to chase ambulances, or in this case, chase storm clouds. Here is what I mean by that. Let me give you 3 scenarios that play out every single storm season. First, there's Marcus in Mecklenburg County. Marcus had a tree limb punched through his garage roof during a severe thunderstorm. Within 4 hours, a guy in a white truck with a magnetic sign pulls up, introduces himself, and says he has already been on Marcus's street helping neighbors. He tells Marcus he can get him a brand new roof, completely free, no out-of-pocket cost. All Marcus has to do is sign a form authorizing the contractor to work with the insurance company. Marcus thinks he is signing a work estimate. He is not. Second, there's Diane in Cabarrus County. Diane comes home from work and finds a door hanger from a roofing company she has never heard of. It says, "We noticed storm damage to your roof. Call us for a free inspection." Diane calls. A guy shows up 30 minutes later with a drone, flies it over her roof, shows her photos of missing shingles on his tablet, and tells her the damage will only get worse if she waits. He has a contract ready on the spot. Diane signs because she is scared of water damage, and the guy seemed nice. Third, there is Ray in Gaston County. Ray did not even have storm damage. But the door-to-door salesman convinced Ray that the granule loss on his 15-year-old shingles was wind damage and could be filed as a storm claim. Ray signs the paperwork thinking he just got lucky. What he actually just did was participate in insurance fraud, and the contractor set it up so Ray is the one on the hook if the insurance company investigates. Here is the dollar math. The average residential roof replacement in the Charlotte metro runs between $8,000 and $25,000, depending on the size and materials. When a storm chaser tells you it is free, what they are really saying is, I am going to inflate the claim, pocket the difference, and do the cheapest possible work or no work at all. That is not a free roof. That is a $25,000 theft funded by your own insurance policy. And once they deplete your policy limits, guess who pays for the next legitimate claim? You do. And let me tell you about Rachel in York County, South Carolina, just across the state line. Rachel's storm chaser did not even wait for a storm. He showed up after a windy afternoon, not a named system, not a severe thunderstorm warning, just a breezy Tuesday, and told Rachel he could see uplift damage on her ridge cap from the street. There was no damage, but Rachel did not know that because she had never been on her own roof. She signed, the contractor filed a $14,000 claim. Her insurance company paid out $9,000 after the adjuster inspected. The contractor pocketed it and never came back. Rachel's roof was fine before he knocked. It was still fine after, but her insurance claim history now shows a $9,000 payout, which means her premiums went up at renewal. She paid more for insurance because a scammer manufactured a claim she never needed. The action step here is simple. If someone knocks on your door the day after a storm offering a free roof, do not sign anything. Take their card. Tell them you need to talk to your insurance company first. If they pressure you, if they tell you the offer expires, if they say the insurance company will lowball you without their help, that is your red flag. Shut the door. Section 2, the AOB trap. Now let's talk about the document itself, because this is where the legal nightmare starts. AOB stands for Assignment of Benefits, and I need you to understand what that document actually does, because most homeowners think they are signing a work authorization. They are not. An assignment of benefits is a legal instrument that transfers your rights as the policyholder, your rights to the contractor. Once you sign it, the contractor steps into your shoes. They can file claims on your policy. They can negotiate settlement amounts with your insurance adjuster. And here's the part that should terrify you. They can receive the insurance checks directly. Your insurance company will cut a check to the contractor, not to you. You never see that money. You never approve the amount. You never get to decide whether the work was done correctly before the contractor gets paid. Here's what I mean by that. Think about this in 3 ways. First, imagine you hand your neighbor the keys to your car and a signed power of attorney that says, you can sell this car to anyone for any price and keep the money. That is what an AOB does to your insurance policy. Second, imagine you are at a closing table and your attorney says, by the way, you have given the seller the right to negotiate your mortgage terms directly with your lender, and you cannot object to whatever they agree to. You would walk out of that closing, but that is the equivalent of what you did when you signed that clipboard in your driveway. Third, and this is the story I promised you there, is Patricia. Patricia lives in Iredell County. After a hailstorm 2 years ago, a storm chaser showed up, inspected her roof, and told her she had $12,000 in damage. He had her sign an AOB on a tablet. She thought it was an estimate. 60 days later, the contractor had negotiated a $23,000 payout from her insurance company. He received the check directly. He sent a crew that spent one afternoon on her roof and left. Patricia called me when she noticed water staining on her bedroom ceiling 4 months later. We hired an independent inspector. The repair was a single layer of the cheapest 3-tab shingles, improperly nailed, with no ice and water shield, no drip edge, and no flashing around the chimney. The cost to tear it off and do it right, $19,000. Her insurance policy was already tapped out from the $23,000 payout she never approved and never saw. Patricia was out $19,000 because of one signature on a tablet she did not read. Stop scrolling. If you own a home in a state that gets severe weather, hurricanes, hailstorms, tornadoes, tropical storms, and you are not subscribed to a channel run by a real estate attorney who covers exactly this kind of thing, a storm chaser is going to steal your insurance payout. I am not being dramatic. It happens thousands of times every single season. Hit subscribe right now. The next video I drop could be the one that saves your closing or your insurance claim. Miss it, and that is on you. Section 3, the Disappearing Act. So the contractor has your money. Now what? Here's what happens next, and I have seen every version of this play out. Once the contractor cashes that insurance check, they have zero incentive to do quality work. Zero. They already got paid. You already signed over your rights. And the contract you signed, the one you did not read, almost certainly contains a clause that says the contractor determines the scope and method of repair at their sole discretion. Here's what I mean by that. There are 3 ways the Disappearing Act unfolds. First, there is the cheap job exit. This is what happened to Patricia. The contractor sends a crew of unlicensed, uninsured day laborers to throw up the cheapest possible materials. They are on your roof for 6 hours. It looks fine from the ground, but the work is structurally deficient, improper nail patterns, no starter course, no underlayment in valleys. Within 12 months, you have leaks. Within 24 months, you need a full tear-off. That 6-hour job just costs you another $15,000 to $20,000. Second, there is the tarp and vanish. The contractor tells you materials are back-ordered, supply chain issues, you know how it is. They put a temporary tarp on your roof. Weeks go by, you call the number on the card, it is disconnected. The LLC they were operating under, dissolved. The website, gone. The $25,000 check your insurance company issued, cashed and spent. Third, there is the lien threat. You complain about the work. You threaten to call the insurance company, and the contractor fires back. You owe me your deductible. Pay it, or I am putting a mechanic's lien on your house. Now, you have a lien on your property filed by a scammer that will cloud your title, block your refinance, and show up on every title search until you spend $3,000 hiring an attorney to get it removed. That is the playbook. Get paid, do nothing, and threaten the homeowner if they push back. And then there is Dana in Davidson County. Dana's contractor actually did show up and do some work, but only on the front-facing slope of her roof, the side visible from the street. The back slope, the one facing her backyard where nobody walks, untouched. The contractor submitted photos of the front slope to the insurance company as proof of completion, collected the full $18,000 payout, and left the back of the roof with the original storm damage still exposed. Dana did not notice for 3 months because she never walks behind her house. By the time she found it, water had been running down the back wall and into her crawl space. The mold remediation alone cost $6,000. The dollar math here is devastating. Greg in Union County signed an AOB last spring. His insurance company paid out $21,000. The contractor did roughly $4,000 in actual work using materials that did not meet code. Greg now needs $18,000 in repairs. His insurance policy is depleted for the claim year, and the contractor filed a $2,000 lien against Greg's house for the unpaid deductible. Greg is looking at $20,000 in losses from one signature. That is not a roof repair. That is a financial catastrophe. Drop a comment right now. Have you ever had a door-to-door roofer pressure you to sign a contract right after a bad storm? Tell me what they said. Tell me what they promised you. I read every single comment, and the ones that get answered first are the ones that show up early. If you stay silent, I cannot cover what matters most to you. Speak up. Section 4, the rescission and fraud hack. Now, here's the part where we fight back. And I am going to be direct with you. Do not try to sue a ghost LLC. If the contractor dissolved the company, moved to another state, or is operating under a different name next storm season, a civil lawsuit is going to cost you $15,000 to $20,000 in legal fees chasing someone who has no attachable assets. That is throwing good money after bad. Here is what you do instead, and this is the part nobody tells you. First, rescission. Many states, including North Carolina, Florida, Texas, and others that have been hit hardest by this scam, have passed laws that allow homeowners to rescind an assignment of benefits within a specific window. In many jurisdictions, that window is 14 days after you sign the document, or longer if the contractor has not substantially started work. Rescission means you legally cancel the AOB and take back your rights as the policyholder. The insurance company must stop paying the contractor and redirect all claim proceeds back to you. Here's what I mean by that. There are 3 versions of how rescission saves you. Janet in Rowan County signed an AOB on a Tuesday. By Thursday, she had talked to her neighbor, a paralegal, who told her what she had actually signed. Janet sent a certified letter to the contractor and her insurance adjuster on Friday, invoking her statutory right of rescission. The contractor called screaming. Janet did not answer. Her insurance company froze the payout, redirected the claim to Janet, and she hired a licensed, bonded contractor of her own choosing. Total cost of the rescue? The price of a certified letter, which is about $8. Frank in Lincoln County waited 22 days. He missed the rescission window. But Frank's attorney, that would be my office, sent a demand letter to the insurance company arguing that the contractor had committed material misrepresentation in the AOB and that the assignment was voidable for fraud. The insurance company agreed to investigate. Frank got his claim reopened. Deborah in Catawba County was 45 days out, way past the rescission window. Her contractor had already been paid and had vanished. So Deborah filed a formal complaint with the North Carolina Department of Insurance Fraud Division. That complaint triggered a criminal investigation. The state fraud investigators subpoenaed the contractor's bank records, discovered he had cashed AOB checks from 11 different homeowners, totaling over $200,000, and referred the case to the district attorney. Deborah did not have to hire a lawyer to make that happen. She filled out a form and let the state do the hunting. The dollar math matters here. A certified rescission letter costs you $8. A fraud complaint is free to file. A civil lawsuit costs $15,000 to $20,000 and takes 18 months. The State Insurance Fraud Division has subpoena power, criminal investigators, and a budget that dwarfs your litigation fund. Use the system. That is what it is there for. Stop right now. Pull up your phone. Find the one person you know who owns a home in a storm-prone area, your parent, your sibling, your best friend, the neighbor down the street, and send them this video. Not later, not after you finish watching, right now. Because if a storm hits their neighborhood next week and they sign an AOB without watching this, you are going to be the one watching them lose $20,000 and wondering why you did not say something when you had the chance. One text, one link, do it before you forget. Section 5, the action protocol. I want to give you a step-by-step protocol you can follow the moment a storm damages your home. Print this out, screenshot it, save it, because when your roof is leaking and you are panicking, you are not going to remember what I said you need a checklist. Here is the thing. The first 48 hours after storm damage are when you are most vulnerable to this scam. Your roof is leaking, your family is stressed, and a friendly guy in a polo shirt shows up with a solution that sounds too good to be true. It is. Step 1. Never sign a document on a tablet or clipboard from a door-to-door contractor. Not an estimate, not a work order, not an inspection authorization, not anything. If they are legitimate, they will not pressure you for a same-day signature. Tell them to email you the paperwork and have your attorney review it before you sign. If they refuse to leave written paperwork for you to review on your own time, they are not legitimate. Here's what I mean by that. Thomas in Stanley County was handed a tablet and told to sign here to authorize the free inspection. The document on the tablet was a 4-page AOB. The signature line was on page 4. Pages 1 through 3 were not displayed on the screen. Thomas signed what he thought was an inspection consent. He actually signed a full assignment of his insurance benefits. That is not a hypothetical. That is a case file in my office. Step 2. If you already signed an AOB, send a certified notice of rescission immediately. Send it to the contractor at every address you have for them. The business address on the contract, the address on their website, any address you can find. Send a copy to your insurance company's claims department. Reference the specific statutory provision in your state that grants you the right to rescind. In North Carolina, reference North Carolina General Statutes, Chapter 58. In Florida, reference Florida Statute 627.7152. Your attorney can help you identify the correct statute. The certified mail receipt is your proof. Keep it forever. Here is the real-world version. Sandra in Iredell County sent her rescission letter by regular mail. The contractor claimed he never received it. Sandra had no proof of delivery. She lost her rescission argument. Do not make Sandra's mistake. Certified mail, return receipt requested. That green card is your evidence. Step 3. Demand a detailed accounting from your insurance company. Call your claims adjuster and ask, has any money been released on my claim? To whom? In what amount? If funds have already been dispersed to the contractor, you need that information for your fraud complaint. Get it in writing. Step 4. If the money is gone and the work is not done or the work is deficient, file a complaint with your state's Department of Insurance Fraud Division. In North Carolina, you can file online through the NCDOI website. Include every document you have, the AOB, photos of the deficient work, the insurance claim number, the contractor's name, license number, truck description, phone number, everything. The Fraud Division has criminal investigators with subpoena power. They do this for a living. Let them hunt. Kevin in Wake County filed his fraud complaint on a Monday. By Wednesday, a state investigator had called him for a follow-up interview. Within 90 days, the contractor's operations in 3 counties had been shut down. Kevin did not spend a dime on legal fees for that outcome. The state did the work. And here is one more that should hit home. James in Johnston County did everything right after he did one thing wrong. He signed the AOB, realized his mistake 2 days later, and immediately followed this protocol. Certified rescission letter on day 2. Called his insurance adjuster on day 3 and confirmed no funds had been released. Filed the fraud complaint on day 4 just to create a paper trail. The contractor showed up at James's house threatening to sue for breach of contract. James handed him a copy of the rescission letter and the fraud complaint filing receipt. The contractor left and never came back. James's total cost? $11 in certified mail fees. That is the protocol working exactly as it should. Save this video right now. Put it in a playlist called Property Defense or Before I Sign, because the day a storm takes shingles off your roof and a guy in a truck pulls up and offers to handle everything with your insurance company, you need to pull this video back up immediately. If you do not save it now, you will not find it when you need it. And standing in your driveway with a leaking roof is not the moment you want to be searching YouTube. So there you have it, 5 things every homeowner needs to know about storm chaser fraud and the assignment of benefits trap. Number 1, the free roof pitch is a con. Legitimate contractors do not chase storms. Number 2, the AOB transfers your insurance rights to a stranger, and they can cash your checks without your approval. Number 3, once they have the money, the work will be cheap, incomplete, or non-existent, and they will threaten you with a lien if you complain. Number 4, you can rescind the AOB if you act fast, and you can trigger a state criminal investigation for free if you act smart. Number 5, the 48-hour protocol protects you never sign on the spot, rescind immediately if you already did, demand an accounting, and file the fraud complaint. We are not done. If you think storm chasers are the only contractors running this playbook, you are going to want to watch the next video. It covers unlicensed contractors who hide behind shell LLCs, how they set up, how they disappear, and how to pierce that corporate veil to go after the actual person who took your money. That video is the other half of this equation. And if you skip it, you are walking into your next home repair with half the information. Click it, watch it,